There's a moment when pain stops being something you feel and becomes something you negotiate with. Most people lose right there. Not because the pain is unbearable, the conversation in their head is louder than the body itself. For David Goggins, pain isn't a side effect, it's the point.
This episode is built from a raw segment of David Goggins speaking about discipline, suffering, and the lies people tell themselves when things get hard. Not as a motivational speech, neither a highlight reel. More like a window into how someone treats pain as a tool, not to escape it, but something to walk straight into and stay there long enough to learn who's actually in control.
Lesson 1. Pain exposes reality. When everything is comfortable, stories multiply. Reasons sound convincing. Explanations feel intelligent. Pain removes all of that. It doesn't care about your past, your intentions, or what you plan to do tomorrow. This is why Goggins leans into it. Pain strips life down to what's actually happening in the present moment. You either keep moving or you don't. There's no room for theory. Most people avoid pain because it threatens the stories they use to protect themselves. Goggins uses it for the opposite reason, to see what remains when those stories fall apart.
Lesson 2. Negotiation is the real enemy. Very few people quit suddenly. What actually stops them is negotiation, a quiet internal dialogue that opens as soon as discomfort appears, a suggestion to slow down, a promise to push later, a mental checkpoint that feels reasonable at the time. Goggins understands that once this conversation starts, the outcome is already decided. The body can continue, but the mind has found an escape hatch. So he doesn't try to make pain disappear, he removes the negotiation entirely. No discussion, no compromise. Pain becomes a condition, not a decision point.
Lesson 3. Discipline isn't emotional. Most people treat discipline as a mood. If they feel motivated, they act. If they don't, they wait. Goggins rejects this entirely. For him, discipline is an identity, something that exists regardless of emotion. That changes everything. When discipline is identity, hesitation loses its power. There's nothing to debate. Action is already decided. Pain simply becomes a test of whether that identity is real. When discomfort appears, it reveals whether discipline was a feeling or a commitment.
Lesson 4. Choose your suffering. Everyone suffers. The difference is timing. Some suffering is chosen early, deliberately, and with intention. Other suffering arrives later, heavier, and without permission. Goggins chooses discomfort on purpose, not to punish himself, but to build control. Voluntary suffering strengthens decision-making. It teaches the mind that discomfort doesn't mean danger. Avoided suffering compounds silently. Chosen suffering clarifies priorities quickly. One builds resilience, the other builds regret.
Lesson 5. Pain only teaches if you stay with it. Pain alone doesn't create growth. Escaping it teaches nothing. Panicking inside it makes things worse. The difference is presence. Goggins stays inside discomfort long enough to observe it. He watches how the body responds, where the limits actually are, and which ones were imagined long before they were tested. Most people rush to make pain stop. Staying with it calmly turns suffering into information, and information into control.
Here's where it becomes almost strange. David Goggins treats his own mind like a separate opponent. He turns his watch away so time can't weaken him. He speaks to himself in the third person, issuing commands like a drill instructor. When pain spikes, he sometimes smiles, not out of enjoyment, but to confuse the mind that wants him to quit. And more than once, he's admitted that he chooses certain workouts for one simple reason. He hates them. This isn't motivation. It's organized psychological warfare. Most people try to escape pain. He builds an operating system inside it.
You don't need to live the way David Goggins lives, but you should understand what he's demonstrating. Pain is unavoidable. The only real choice is whether you use it to expose weakness or spend your life negotiating with it. If you want a deeper look into how this mindset was built, Can't Hurt Me isn't inspirational reading. It's a record of someone learning to stop lying to himself. Take something hard today. Don't escape it.